But the journey that I'm on now is meant for me to just go through. I wanted to do a series and do things like from sliders, but a lot of the greatest hits of the memories I've already been through. But I just like to do things and learn things when I'm going through. I don't know how to express. People see a lot of things about energy and fireballs and lightning and teleportation, electronesis. People have gifts, spiritual gifts. We call them spiritual gifts, but we're not in the spiritual realm. This is a physical realm. So we don't understand ourselves. We don't understand life. We don't understand things. It's very confusing. And I'm unsure how to open up because for some people, they do this stuff and they have no problem talking about it and doing stuff. But when I went to do it, like everybody else do it, people were embarrassed. People made fun of me. People laugh. People think I'm stupid. People make fun of my raps. People make fun of my looks. They're not focusing on spreading conversation and the same thing that they talk about with their friends. It's like, people can't control themselves around me, and it's not my job to control people. And you got to realize you're stepping out of line, people. I already tell people what I am, so people aren't doing their research. I get sick and tired of telling people what I do for a living when all it does is just people just laugh at you and say whatever. They don't stay in character. People just don't enjoy things. They don't enjoy conversations. They're just so judgmental of the things I've been through, and I don't like bringing it up, and I don't like talking about it because there's no correct answer. And if I have to give people chances in life, well, why didn't you give me chances? I don't like talking about things and the memories I've been through because they're painful. But how do I get over the pain? Because I've already gotten over it. So I'm kind of beating the demon per se that keeps jumping up and jumping back and laughing, and maybe it's a form of PSD or whatever you call it. I don't know what to call it, but I don't think so because everybody has memories. Everybody has sadness. Everybody has flaws. Everybody has reconciliation. Everybody has a way that they see the planet, but I don't like this part on being a journal. I don't mind it, but I don't like talking about my feelings on things because I just do things. I just fit into character and make conversation with people. I never like to talk about being dumped or being cool or having problems and the stuff I went through with my ex and all the past relationships in high school or college. I don't know how to talk about all that stuff because I've already accomplished it. It seems useless to bring up old things that, I moved away from my hometown and I didn't get to live where people actually, like they are in reality, people get the chance to tell each other, oh, we're sorry for the actions we caused. We were wrong in the first place. We didn't mean to cause you problems. We were just in the wrong mind frame, how people are. But I never got to get that in life. I never get to hear I'm sorry's, or I never get to hear people that care. I always run into the bad apples or the negatives, and some of it is very hard to maintain a positive swagger just with the way the generation is. They're always cussing and swearing at each other, and you're not solving anything. You're actually looking like worse because you can't defend yourselves now in life, where you can't come back from the actions you did. And now that that's over, that's the stuff that I only judge my actions, but how can I remember my own actions if people are just throwing out their conversations? And it's one thing, I give freedom and let people talk, but then if they want to talk about their subjects, then I got to talk about my subjects. It's 50-50 in conversation. Sometimes I answer people's questions. Sometimes I change the subject because I just add a joke or just add, it's simple things. I don't get why the world is so touchy feely, so emotional, so filled with, everybody's filled with anxiety and panic attacks, and but you can't calm yourself down unless you speak out loud, because then you realize what the actions of people have caused, and you realize that that part of your life is over and they have to live with their actions of doing you wrong when they were wrong in the first place. They have to learn to talk themselves out to eventually building up the courage to tell you they're sorry if they're still around you. Sometimes it's neighbors, sometimes it's, bad things neighbors do, and nobody ever apologizes. I seem to be the only one that ever apologizes for my actions so I can learn not to do things again, because we don't have second chances. So if you're always saying we don't have second chances in life, then that means you got to be doing all this stuff and caring up front already. You got to be doing this stuff, planet. It's not just me on my shoulders. I can't do everything. I can't hold people's hands and tell them, okay, you got to walk a certain way, you got to talk a certain way. That's ridiculous. That's overdoing it a little bit much. And if you're going through that, you got some nasty monsters like I do. You got some nasty things that affect you that affect me as well, which probably brings us all together because we're going through battles in our life, and life is full of mysteries. But my best advice to give out is not just being positive, is just kick back and just let things go. Just spread your jokes, talk about sports, talk about cars, talk about the movies you watch, the newspapers, what happens on the news, what happens in your neighborhood. Just go about it different. You don't have to make fun of people. You could say stuff like, I don't understand why, happened to me. What was it for? What was it trying to point? Why do people cheat? Why do the younger crowd try to get the adults in trouble? If you buy them beer and then they all of a sudden try to frame you and say you're fooling around with them when you're not. Why do bad things happen? Why do people dump you? Why do people say they got crushes on you and then turn around and be with somebody else? What is that about? Is that dark spirits? Am I in a weird reality where people don't remember the things they do or say? Because that's Alzheimer's. And these people around in the town that I've met for 39 years, you don't have dementia. So you're full of crap. If you want my opinion, I could just be blunt about things, and I could be as egotistical and just sit back and say, well, I just don't care. It's not my fault. When it gets at the end of life and you're just going to get sit down and talk to about it in the next life or the multiverse, whatever people are talking about. I don't care about all this stuff. I'm not good at understanding it, because then I have to worry about, well, running into my clone or running into skinwalkers, cyprids, and the cryptids, or whatever's going on in life. I don't know what's in life. I don't know what to role play with. I don't know what the full extent on reality. We don't know what walks this earth. You can't control people. How you expect to control everything else in life? These are just explorations, and CERN opened portals to space. We don't know the extents of what's in the ocean or space. So if they're opening portals from space and time, it's going to cause a ripple effect like we've seen in Flash or X-Men and Avengers, where you're going to open things to planets that, yes, it's cool to discover new things and learn new things and find other planets and other life forms, but you're bringing that stuff here. You don't understand what you're opening and what you're doing. It's like some shows we watch where they open and mess with the Ouija board, and you don't know what spirits and ghosts you're messing with, that's you're creating in reality as you're going along with it. You don't realize what you're manifesting. And a lot of it, if it doesn't mess with you and you send demons towards people to get them to read magic books and set them up so you can send something there to harm them, You don't realize that that's going to come back at you, people that do that stuff, and you're just fighting yourself. And why would you want to do that? Why would you want to cause people harm, especially if you don't know them? That doesn't make any sense. And you're going to wake up out of your daze or wake up out of your being in a spell, and you're going to realize half the things you're done, and by the time you remember it, you're not going to be able to be going back to that person and apologize. You're not going to be able to stop yourself from going to jail or even waking up and killing somebody. You don't realize how bad this planet is, or how supernatural and all kinds of extraterrestrial. We don't understand the full extent of the things we see, the things they talk about, the things they experiment with. We're not high class. We're not high level scientific, very smart and intelligent. We can be, the way we talk, we're ambushing ourselves. Seems like we're getting out of traps and we're just exploring the planet. It's all nice and voyage, and the journey is great to walking through is one thing. But standing on the outside of the reflection, I could see how you people are kind of scared about this stuff. You're scared to go swimming in the ocean because you can get ate up by sharks. But it doesn't mean you're going to just because you're there swimming in the ocean. The ocean is a gorgeous place too, with all the coral reefs and the mountains under the water, and just how the clouds look. And if you look at the art, and if you have a sense of wisdom and sense of key, it's all beautiful and gorgeous. In paintings and pictures, they show you clouds change colors and all kinds of sunsets, and it's great to look at. But it's better when you go through it, not just better talking about it. And all these great things that we're learning about life. But you got to realize, when you mess with trinkets that we're just learning nowadays, that's just happening now, you mess with things and you make wishes, you got to live with what you wish for. It's not just like, walking around normally. Well, that's not even true, too, because if you walk around normally and wish for things, you very well could get it. What would you do if it happened to you? People laugh and make fun of superheroes or adventures and going on adventures and just doing things. But what would you do if it happened to you? It wouldn't really, you'd be shocked, wouldn't it? You'd be shocked if you're in your own mystery. You wouldn't know what to do, would you? You wouldn't know how to feel, how to sense things. You wouldn't know how to understand the planet if you knew half the evil that's in the world. You wouldn't understand things of half the good that's in the world. We only concept things as like lower levels. We're only human beings. We can't concept things like, galaxies and planets and stars and nebulas, black holes, and, throwing energy balls at people. It's one thing when, it's funky dory playing it in video games, but, when you travel in the ocean and the water, when you're playing video games, is different. You got to wear an oxygen tank in real life. You can't go swimming in the deep sea without running into sharks and whales and orcas and octopus and stingrays and starfish. There's a lot of things to life we're not understanding, and it's better that sometimes some things, it's better that you don't question. It's better that you just go through it and be adventurous, be joyous, be respective, because there's a lot of history flowing through these towns. There's a lot of history throwing through people. Excuse me. But there's just joy in everything.